All right. So I thought we had a few people who would do this homework. So just asking किसी ने किया ये homework जो share करना चाहें कि कैसे हुआ कैसे गया. Anybody here who did the homework and would like to share their viewpoint on it? Sana? Anybody else? Anyone who wants to share their viewpoint? कोई है? It would just help, जब आप लोग बात करते हैं ना तो बाकी स्टूडेंट्स भी बहुत गेन करते हैं उससे. So it just helps to practically apply जो लास्ट सेशन में हमने डिस्कस किया. एंड द होल आइडिया इज कि प्रैक्टिकली हम चीज़ों को अप्लाई करें, स्पिरिचुअली आगे बढ़ें. That is the whole objective of our doing these sessions. So I'll encourage everyone to homework कर लिया करें. It would, I'm sure, benefit you just understanding our own situations at home. So any volunteers?
सिस्टर अज़रा, आप बात करेंगे इस पे?
I know इस मेरे privacy issues भी होंगे इससे फायदा, and that may be,
did anyone do the homework? Let's just start with that.
Yeah.
Can we
I did the homework.
Up on who did
I did the homework in writing, but I don't. Yeah, my homework. Yeah, I did it. It's in written.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think it's good to discuss that on the platform.
Okay. और किसी ने homework किया? That's a good sign. Homework होना चाहिए. Anybody else who did the homework? वो बता दें. So at least we see how active we are after a session. Lots of sessions take place on Zoom, but we are actually not getting the benefit of it if we don't get into action on them. Do you agree with me on this point? As to, you're here, बताएं अपनी राय बताएं, is it a good idea to actually do it, do the homework? Okay, good. Sisters are good, you did half of it. It's better than not doing it. और उससे भी काफी information आपको, I'm sure you gained from just doing that bit. So I would encourage everybody to do that, please. ठीक है? Is that everyone agrees with that? Chat में जवाब देते हैं, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. हमारा जो main हमने topic देखा, we covered these two scenarios. कि अगर आप ऐसे feel कर रहे हैं, one पे I felt people looked at me as if I was not respect worthy. इसकी क्या handling है? ये हम कर चुके हैं 2 sessions पहले. Last session में हमने किया कि my spouse's talk and the way of talking upsets me. Right? ये हमने last time किया. So now we are moving on to the in-laws side, which was of interest to quite a few of our students. So we said we'd look at it. So it's the third one which we are doing today. My in-laws' comments, attitudes makes me feel alone and excluded. We are going to look at how do we handle this area so that you are spiritually growing and getting into your true self, and not only helping yourself, but helping everyone around you. That is the objective. So if we look at the ayat, 30, Surah 21 ayat, we are focusing on this because that is the purpose of marriage. You've got your in-laws over there, that's fine, but your marriage ka purpose remains senior at all times, and that is to find tranquility in each other. And that is what the marriage is about, that you're supporting each other, getting each other to higher spiritual states. So here, the major emphasis is that the emphasis is on you and your partner and the relationship between you. So इसको हम belief systems को हमने देखा. I think we have a sister Asma and maybe, Sister Saraf may not be aware of all the data we cover today or talk about it. So inshallah, through the videos you can gain the concepts. We're talking belief systems जो हैं आपके जो आपने बना लिए हैं उसके बेसिस पे आप अपनी स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं और आप अपनी खुशी और आप अपने डे को बेसिकली you are making it happen through your belief systems. So you have to check your belief systems. जितना वो अल-किताब पे बेस्ड होंगे, जितना अल्लाह से कनेक्टेड होंगे, उतना ही आप में हार्मनी, पीस, ट्रैंक्विलिटी और आप अपने पर्पस पे रहेंगे. So we've gone through the different belief systems के अगर आप नेगेटिव सोचेंगे तो आपका पोटेंशियल भी कम होएगा, आपका एक्शन भी कम होएगा, रिजल्ट्स भी खराब आएंगे और वही बिलीफ सिस्टम बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाएगा. तो आप उसको स्ट्रेंथ देते हैं जब आप एक नेगेटिव बिलीफ सिस्टम को अपने पास रखते हैं. And we looked at the surah and we see here कि आपकी फितरा पे अल्लाह ताला ने हमें जैसे क्रिएट किया है, that is upon which he has created, adhere to the fitra of Allah upon which he has created all people. So उस disposition में आपकी बहुत potential है जो अभी तक realize नहीं हुई है. There's so much there, so much potential to do, to help, to come out of difficulties, to make a new home that is of the very, very high standard. तो इसमें बिलीफ रखना है क्योंकि आपका फितरा जो है that is pure and that is your true self. So true self और false self की पहचान होना, ये आपको know yourself part 2 के कोर्स से you can learn more about it. आपको पहचान हो जानी चाहिए कि when are you in your true self and when are you in your false self. So जब आप false self में होते हैं तो obviously you're harming yourself and harming everyone around you. So आप मुझे बताएंगे कि what is defining you? आपको क्या चीज़, आप क्या समझते हैं आपको क्या चीज़ define करती है? What is actually defining you? What would you say? किस तरह से आप अपने खुद को define कर रहे हैं? मैं कहती हूँ आप कौन हैं तो ये okay, you got a name. But what things in you define you? What is it? Is it your appearance? What is it? What is, yeah, okay. Sana, thank you. Okay. Right. Good. My philosophy, says Sister Farhana. Okay. Anyone, any other ideas of what defines you? Okay. My priorities, all right. My behavior, good. Excellent. All right. Okay. So, yeah, you can evaluate yourself as how much or how pure you are in your beliefs and as a Muslim. But you see, usually we find that attention किधर पे है होती है ज़्यादातर society में अगर आप लोगों को देखें, what are they spending most of their attention on? What is being, what are they thinking defines them? What would you say? What is it? Yes, their appearance. Their appearance, उनके पास घर है, गाड़ी कौन सी है, बच्चे कितने अच्छा कर रहे हैं. These are the things that they feel are defining them, right? So let's look at this area anyway. So these things then take you off course from your true fitra. So we looked at कि आप observe correctly करें. We worked on this thing कि आप कैसे observe करें correctly. How can you do that? Because usually हम क्या कर रहे हैं, वो चश्मा लगाया हुआ है कि past की चीज़ों के through चीज़ों को evaluate कर रहे हैं. जजमेंट के थ्रू हम आपने अपने फैसले कर लिए कि ये बंदा ऐसे है, फिर उसी नजरिए से उस बंदे को देखना, अपने इमोशंस के थ्रू देखना, अपने बिलीफ्स के थ्रू देखना, दैट ऑल काइंड ऑफ क्लाउड्स द ट्रूथ. इट डजंट मेक इट प्योर. जैसे है सिचुएशन उसको हम वैसे नहीं देख पा रहे. So what we are trying to say is कि वो चश्मा हटाएं and just be in present time and look at the way things are. तो आपकी ऑब्जर्वेशन प्योर होनी चाहिए, नॉट क्लाउडेड विथ अर्लियर जजमेंट्स और बिलीफ सिस्टम्स. और जितनी आपकी ऑब्जर्वेशन क्लियर होगी उतना आपको उस सिचुएशन के बारे में नॉलेज आएगा, राइट? यू विल हैव मोर नॉलेज अबाउट इट इफ यू आर लुकिंग विदाउट बायस और प्री कंसीव्ड आइडियाज. आप नॉलेज भी गेन कर रहे हैं, यू नो, यू आर लर्निंग अबाउट थ्रू योर डेली जो आप स्टडी करते हैं. You know, you're studying the Quran, you're studying the Sira, you are gaining your knowledge. तो वो भी आपकी observation पे improvement लाती है. You see things differently and you can see reality. Reality है जो वहाँ पे हो रहा है, तो वो भी आपको ज्यादा दिखता है. और जितना आपकी रियलिटी बढ़ती है उतना आपका नॉलेज बढ़ता है, उतना आपका ऑब्जर्वेशन बढ़ता है. सो यू गेट रियली टू नो द सिचुएशन द वे इट इज. एंड योर idea is to accept, अपने खुद को accept करना. You know, I've got failings in myself, I have weaknesses, I have faults, I have to accept that I have to improve those areas. And then you are accepting of what is between you and your spouse. You know, maybe the relationship isn't as good as you would like it to be. So firstly, to identify करना है कि कोई problem है वहाँ पे, something you'd like to improve. So we are saying कि उसकी observation में purity लाएं और accept करें, you know, have the courage to accept कि ये है ऐसा and ऐसी relationship है. And of course, since we're talking about in-laws this time, so that what is between you and your in-laws, also usko bhi accept kare, right? So we looked at the points A to E on how to resolve belief systems, changing belief systems, and we come with somehow quite a lot of belief systems into a marriage that are not very helpful for us. So in-laws in our culture form a very big part of life, not so much perhaps in the Western style of living. So let's look at isko hum kaise आपको empower करें so that you can actually play a very vital and important role. And these are very key relationships. Allah Ta'ala has chosen you to be in this home and, you know, to act in a way that helps everyone there. So what happens really? इसको हम step A से देख रहे हैं कि ये situation है कि my in-laws comments makes me feel alone and excluded. ये वाला scenario हम देख रहे थे कि you know, you feel this way, you don't feel part of it. Maybe it's because the way they look, or maybe they say something like, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं आता, या तुम क्या नहीं जानती हो, तुम छोटी हो, or whatever. And it makes you feel alone and excluded. So इस पे we said we would look at कि ये कहाँ से, ये क्यों हमें आपको और मुझे बुरा लगता है. Why do we not like this kind of thing happening? So we have to look at कि हम क्या result seek कर रहे हैं. What are the results we really are seeking from in-laws? So we could say that I'm seeking, I would like to be liked by them. Yeah, I would be liked. I've gone into this new home. I would like to be liked by them. I would like to be considered valuable. My in-laws would feel proud to have me as part of their family. I'd like that to happen. They would praise me to others. I would like it to be like they found a pearl in my coming into this house. You know, it's like they should feel like that about me. So what is the result you were seeking? आप ये हम सोच के जाते हैं, you know, and why were you seeking that? Why did you think like that? Because what in-laws think of me is who I really am. ये आपके belief system में आ गया कि जो वो सोचेंगे, जो वो impression उनका होगा, वो हैं आप. It defines my being a good daughter-in-law and a good wife. जो उनकी सोच है उसी के मुताबिक मैं जजमेंट पास हो रही है कि मैं अच्छी वाइफ हूँ और अच्छी daughter-in-law हूँ. So and I have a good life. So that's why you and I perhaps were seeking that. Where did you come to be influenced by that? ये आपका third question है नीचे. My parents perhaps influenced me that way कि इस तरह से सोचें. implied it in their conversation. I picked it up from the culture. कि ये चीज होनी है, you know, I am going into a new home. I should be loved and I should be thought well of, and my role is to that I should be really liked by my in-laws, and then I'm successful. Movies, dramas, friends, you know, all these things feed us that kind of knowledge. So how were you influenced and what attracted you towards this kind of thinking? You know, what is it that, well, you just probably thought that the purpose of marriage was to impress the in-laws. You know, they've got you in there and now you've got to impress them. If my in-laws were happy with me, then you could think that I wasn't successful in a marriage. Or you could think my in-laws had more importance in a marriage than me or my husband. It could be that way too, that we sometimes give more emphasis to the in-laws and forget about ourselves and about our spouse. So the last question जो आपको अपने belief systems को समझने में मदद दे रहा है कि when did this occur? I mean, it hasn't occurred before. This is the first marriage that is there, and it occurred because this is the picture that is painted in life from the culture you picked it up, right? So आपके ये सारे questions answer 1 to 5 answer हो गए हैं, and you can locate the thing, you located the thing that causes the emotion, कि उनका किसी तरह से वो आपको देखते हैं या किस तरह से बात करते हैं या कोई जुमला बोल देते हैं तो आप अपसेट हो जाते हैं, and you located the thoughts and belief systems कि ये questions answer हो गए. तो let's see what is the actual belief system, क्या बन गया इसके basis पे. Just a quick short one, क्या बनेगा? So जो belief system बैठ गया आपके mind में is I should be liked, considered valuable. My in-laws should take pride in me as a daughter-in-law. And you probably also think I'm less in age, so I must obey my in-laws. Whatever they say, I must do that. ये भी belief system में जा सकता है. I'm an outsider, so I must fit into this environment. I must adjust and get fit into it. They must be happy with me. I'm a slave to them. I should meet their expectations. तो ये belief system में बैठ गया आपके, right? So now this is going to direct you towards things that you will do, decisions you will make, and how you will behave, because this is your belief system now. So आपने इस belief system को अगर आप देखते हैं तो आप क्या कहेंगे? Who have you appointed judge, jury, and executioner? Who have you appointed if you have a belief system like that? क्या बोलेंगे आप? चैट में मुझे बताएं या खुद बोलें. What do you think? Who have you appointed? ये किस false self के belief system है या true self के? ये किसके हैं beliefs? False self, true self. Okay, good. Yeah. So we have good. It is false self because it's not coming from you. It's coming from either your thought pattern or your emotions is based on that. It's not coming from the fitra that Allah Ta'ala has granted you. So appoint कर दिया, उनको हमने कर दिया, cause point पे डाल दिया. वो खुश होंगे तो हम खुश होंगे. वो बन गए ना, फिर हम तो उनके गुलाम बन गए इस तरह से. In that sense. And what is the likelihood that you will meet this belief system? कि ये सच हो जाएगा कि आप उनको प्लीज कर लेंगे, वो हैप्पी हो जाएंगे, आप वो आपको वैल्यूबल समझेंगे, they'll take pride in you. What is the chances of that happening? What do you think? 0% chance. You're right. Yeah, 0%. And what happens when you don't meet those things? What happens? जब आप इस पे नहीं उतरते, फिर आप क्या करते हैं? What is the natural thing you're going to do? You're going to put yourself down. You're going to say, I'm no good. मैं सही नहीं हूँ, ये सही नहीं जा रहा, मेरे में कमी, मैं नहीं कर सकती. And you start creating another belief system which degrades you and makes you feel less because you can't meet this standard that you created, right? So, does that make sense? Does it make sense कि जो हमने किया अभी so far? Should we look at the next step? B हमारा हो गया, locate the thoughts and belief system that triggers it. So it doesn't really, it's not for your good having such a belief system, and you can't meet these standards. You're putting yourself as a slave of somebody else instead of the slave of Allah Ta'ala. And then, yeah. Yes, and then after that, you start degrading yourself or thinking yourself that you're not good enough. You're not good enough. There's something wrong in you. Or you distance yourself and the environment gets really bad. Okay. So, होना क्या चाहिए? होना कैसा belief system चाहिए? So, let's look at that. Right, अपना नया belief system बनाए जो अल किताब से सीरा से connect होता है, जो होना चाहिए in you as an individual. So, my in-laws are to be respected by me. ये आपके belief system में होगा. My in-laws are entitled to their opinions. I am who I am. I am not nothing. I am a defined person with my values. I am accountable to Allah Ta'ala. My in-laws do not define the success or failure of my marriage or myself. Does that seem right as a belief system? Yeah? Does it seem good? My in-laws do not define the success or the failure of my marriage or myself. I'm here in this new home to bring myself and people to their true fitra. Does that seem like a good belief to have as a new? Would you be able to have? Yeah. Okay. The power dynamics may exist, but I do not have to bow to it and deny my rights. Exist करते हैं, they're natural, elders हैं, they are in a new home, power dynamics do exist. लेकिन अपने को deny करना भी एक गुनाह का काम है, it's like Allah Ta'ala has created you with so much potential, with a maqsad sent you into this house. So you have a huge duty and responsibility towards where you are. So the only one I bow to is Allah Ta'ala. My marriage is about giving tranquility and peace to each other, your spouse and yourself. Marriage is about service to others, setting best examples to children of a functioning group rising in spirituality. Yeah. So ये मकसद होना चाहिए एक extended family में आप अगर वहाँ पे रह रहे हैं या even if you're connected to them, that should be the purpose. So point C हमारा हो गया, replace the belief system, right? And then we go on to the steps of cancelling the previous belief system. So you say to your mind, हमने बोला कि अगर आप mind जो है वो आपके belief system को इस तरह follow करता है जैसे वो उसका religion है. So you have to make it known to your mind. I no longer believe that I should be liked or be considered valuable by someone else for me to survive. And this is not my belief system any longer, that my in-laws should take pride in me, and then only am I doing something right. And, I will follow the Quran, I'll follow the Sirah, I'll do the right things. And this thing I must fit in. I'll fit in to the degree that is right for Islam. I'll fit into that degree, right? I must please them. No, I should please Allah Ta'ala. This is not my belief system. They must be happy with me. Well, you are in charge of your happiness, they're in charge of their happiness. So that's something you need to tell your mind that and change that belief system. I'm a slave to them. Say I no longer believe this, that I'm a slave to them, and it's not my job to meet their expectations, right? So इसके basis पे फिर आप नया वाला जो आपका belief system है, I respect my in-laws, they have a right to their opinions, I am who I am, I'm not nothing, I'm somebody who is a person with my values, I'm accountable to Allah Ta'ala, my in-laws do not define the success or failure of my marriage or myself, I'm here in this new home to bring myself and others to their true fitra. The power dynamics may exist, but that I do not deny my rights. The only one I bow to is Allah Ta'ala. My marriage is about giving tranquility and peace to each other. Marriage is about service to others, setting best examples to children of a functioning group rising in spirituality. Does that make sense? कि आपका नया बिलीफ सिस्टम आ गया, आपने अपने माइंड को बता दिया कि ये है मेरा बिलीफ सिस्टम, अभी मैं इस बिलीफ सिस्टम पे ऑपरेट करूंगी, right? So inshallah, this would help. And anyone who finds this a little bit too much that we are talking about, so please let me assure you कि आप कोर्सेज के थ्रू आएंगे तो ये बहुत सिंपल हो जाता है, बहुत step by step you go through the training courses, and inshallah, you know, it will be easier, and you can ask any questions you want from me, and I'll help you on anything you get stuck on.
ओके मैम, सॉरी मुझे आपको हमारे साथ एक ब्रदर भी हैं, तो मैं चाह रही थी कि थोड़ा सा आप इस एंगल से भी इस पे थोड़ी सी बात कर दें प्लीज.
Yeah, I mean, this it equally applies to you know, a male or female. It's no different. You know, it's no different. It applies that way too. That we are here for a purpose, and we are here to actually bring each other to the highest spiritual state. So both partners are. I'm talking about both partners. They have this responsibility. And they should accordingly do that. Okay, so हमने कहा था कि sometimes belief systems इतने overwhelming हो जाते हैं, इतना charge होता है, इतना emotion होता है कि हम उन्हें देख ही नहीं पा रहे कि हमारा belief system क्या है. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to mention them क्योंकि last 2 sessions में मैंने cover किया है. So एक तो हम कह रहे हैं कि एक बिलीफ सिस्टम नहीं है जिसकी वजह से आप अपसेट होते हो. विशोध के कितने सारे हमने निकाल लिए उसी एक अपसेट की वजह से, इमोशन की वजह से, राइट? वी लुक्ड एट all these ones that were here, right? ये वाले सारे थे. So it's not one belief system. There's a lot of belief systems that there वो आपके आ जाएंगे if you're sitting there. Please do this exercise while you're on your own with no interruptions. Number 2 था कि अगर आपका बिलीफ सिस्टम नहीं हो रहा है तो perhaps you should look at कि आप किसी के ऊपर जजमेंट तो नहीं पास कर रहे, you know, उनके कैरेक्टर को जज तो नहीं कर रहे. That is, you know, we are here to responsible to Allah Ta'ala for who we are, what we do, our character. तो अगर कोई किसी के कैरेक्टर पे आप बात करेंगे तो let's not be judging them. You know, you can judge the result जो आ रहा है, जो एक्टिविटी आउट आपको लग रही है, आप उस पे बात कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उनके कैरेक्टर पे फिर वो डिफेंसिव हो जाते हैं. You know, it just creates bad feelings. It's not the right way to approach something if you're looking at a solution. So don't judge the person, just help in that activity and also have a lot of empathy. अगर उनकी एक्टिविटी या वो अपसेट हैं या आप देख रहे हैं ये चीज़, तो थिंक के क्या उन पे मुश्किल गुजरी है that they are like that, and how can you be a source of helping them, right? पॉइंट सी पे हमने कहा था कि अगर आप अपने खुद को ओवरली क्रिटिकल देखते हैं, that you're criticizing your in-laws too much, ऐसे हैं वैसे हैं ये हैं वो हैं, you know, if you're doing that then रिवर्स चेक करें कि आपने कोई ऐसी चीज तो नहीं की जो आप उन पे क्रिटिसिज्म कर रहे हैं, तो आपने तो नहीं की है कभी पास्ट में. एंड लुक एट दैट, टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर इट, आस्क अल्लाह ताला फॉर फॉरगिवनेस फॉर इट एंड इम्प्रूव योरसेल्फ, क्योंकि देयर इज नो रीजन टू बी ओवरली क्रिटिकल. वी आर ऑल हियर टू हेल्प ईच अदर. So inshallah, you know, through that, keep that in point in mind. एक और चीज जो बिलीफ सिस्टम्स को हम प्रिवेंट करती है, what is that we've got too much upset inside of us. There's so much energy, so much upset that हम देख ही नहीं पा रहे, सोच ही नहीं पा रहे, react कर रहे हैं. So that's not the right time to react. And we gave two tools आप use कर सकते थे जिससे आपका you can handle your inner emotional energy that is stuck inside of you. Has anybody tried these tools? किसी ने try किया? कोई feedback है? I'd requested it in my last 2 sessions. Is there any feedback you can give? किसी ने try किया? You know, the first one was to let just you get, if you're upset about something, if you are feeling that आपको disrespect मिली है, आपको कम समझा गया है, आपकी बेइज्जती हो गई है, तो when that happens, all the previous incidents of that have happened also stand up and they also come alive. तो बहुत सारी energy आपकी emotion आपके body में आ जाती है and you can't control it. And the usual thing is to try and stop it. It's too much. But what I said was to let that energy, experience that energy of disrespect. Don't ridge on it. Experience the disrespect. So is anybody tried this thing? I just am curious to know कि आप apply कर रहे हैं and I understand, Sister Asa. So anybody has tried it? No, nobody tried it. Would you like to try it this time? Would you like to try it this time? Okay, all right. Okay. I mean, throughout the day, as it happens. You get upset on little things. It's not necessary कि कोई बड़ी चीज हो. It's just a little thing. Somebody doesn't answer you, and you feel like, oh, ये क्यों किया? इस तरह से क्यों बात की? And phone क्यों नहीं किया मुझे? You start feeling that, and you start getting upset on it. Okay. So please do try this. To try the technique and tell me next time how did it go. And the second technique we talked about was that everything in the universe operates on Allah Ta'ala's laws. So, and Allah Ta'ala, in the ayat we are saying, when remembering Allah while standing or sitting, and this is about those of understanding. So when remembering Allah while standing or sitting or lying on their sides and give thought to the creation of the heavens and the earth. So everything in the universe is operating on Allah Ta'ala's laws. Whether it's living things, non-living things, everything is doing that. And human beings have been given the option to follow and choose their path. So, जब आप false self में चले जाते हो, upset हो जाते हैं, तो आपके पूरा, we looked at this in the emotional side of things, कि आपकी energy wave change हो जाती है, आपकी consciousness change हो जाती है, you're operating at a lower level than the true self. तो energy की जो particles हैं, atoms हैं, cells हैं, everything is not as it should be per the laws of Allah. So when you actually get the concept of Allah Ta'ala and have it, feel it right through your body, so everything naturally is drawn to Allah. So wo synchronization aapki aa jati hai, and your body starts to calm down. And as the body starts to calm down, you start gaining control and you can get a hold of it. So this was the second area that I said to try it out and see and tell me how it goes. I hope you'll try this one as well and give me some feedback. You can send me a message as well. I'd appreciate it if you tell me how did it go. Okay. So we're going to, I'm not going to go into any of these because I think everybody here understands the two techniques, right? And if there are any questions, then we can cover it next time. So I'm going to skip forward. And we have now completed this side, right? We've completed this scenario. And any questions on this area? No questions? Okay. You think you can be better able to handle the extended family and in-laws relationship? इस पे जवाब दें, हाँ या नहीं बोलें. तो कोई difficulty है तो बताएं. Thank you, Sister Farhana. Anybody else would like to get involved and answer me? Yeah, that's true. They don't, because there's a whole layer after layer after layer of it. It's an ongoing process. You have to keep doing it, sisters. I mean, I do it daily. It's like the spiritual heights to which one you can go towards is unbelievable. Aapki toleration and, your level of spirituality is just incredible. What you can bear. And हमने अपने खुद को कम समझा हुआ है. So that you keep working on it. It's quite important to do that to rise spiritually. Okay. So we were looking at this thing that was for the analyze the problem, causes of conflict, value, interest and power. को देख रहे थे तो इस पे personality जो number 5 है, personality level, it has an impact on values, interest, power and also on resolving conflict. So we looked at this definition. So values का आप कोई बता सकता है values आपके और आपके husband के कोई, can somebody mention something or something, two different types of values? Can you give me an example? Values की definition समझ रहे हैं जो about what you believe is important, उसके basis पे आप अपना behavior भी करते हैं, decisions भी करते हैं. Interest वो हैं जो आप curious हैं, you're curious about them, right? I think I need a little more participation from students, otherwise it looks like a one-way flow. Okay. Yeah, you could have values of, one could have values of being materialistic life, others, being very spiritual. There's a difference in values right over there. You could also look at the way different ways children are being brought up. There are different values on it. Some are very strict about it. Their values are that way, and some are very like choto, they learn from their mistakes. So we have different values on how things should occur. So spirituality को जब हम देखते हैं, spirituality पे जो हमने in this section we were looking at कि consciousness level जो personality level है, उसके बहुत wide range है, and it basically true self starts at this line. This line, इससे ऊपर जाएंगे तो आप true self में हैं, और इससे नीचे चले जाएंगे तो you are really operating on the false self. So अगर आप false self में हैं तो आपकी values भी, if you're in the consciousness level of, let's say, fear के consciousness level में जो नीचे है यहाँ पे, तो आपके values भी affect होंगे, right? You'll see that your values, आपका ज़्यादा concentration होगा on stability, security, उस पे बहुत ज़्यादा emphasis होएगी. Predictability आपको चाहिए होगी, conformity चाहिए होगी, tradition के साथ साथ आप चलेंगे if you're at that level, and the attitudes hesitant होंगे, risk averse होंगे, नहीं risk लेना चाहेंगे. Also, somebody at anger के consciousness level में उनके values कैसे होंगे? They'll be more into power and control, more into independence, achievement, competition में होंगे, and they will have they'll be assertive in their attitudes, right? They'll be seeking more superiority to others. तो उनके values and जो चीजें वो करेंगे वो भी उससे aligned होंगी. Somebody at boredom will be sort of not too much bothering about anything, in stagnation, routine उनको ज़्यादा पसंद होगी, indifferent होंगे on things, not really rushing towards anything. And then we had the enthusiasm, and in enthusiasm you would be at growth, connection आपको लोगों से पसंद होगा, contribution would be really matter to you, and you'll be want to have, हक की चीज आपको चाहिए होगी, बातल से आप दूर होंगे, and optimism होगा, you'll have a hope and possibilities, open-minded होंगे, collaborative होंगे. And this is what happens when you rise in your consciousness level. and you go up higher and higher. And the more you go higher, the more responsibility you're taking for yourself, your family, your society, the world at large, and everybody. You love people, you know, whoever they are. It becomes, and that is what is in our fitra, that we are made that way. And the whole struggle of life is for us to get to that point where we do care about people the way we care about our own children or our own family. तो अगर कॉन्शियसनेस लेवल को देखें तो नीचे वाला बहुत फिजिकल लेवल पे वैल्यूज हैं, मटेरियलिस्टिक वैल्यूज हैं, एंड एज यू गेट हायर you get a little bit into the intelligence area and you're logical about things, but it's also again more materialistic for using reason, you know, the logics for self. It's more like that. And as you go higher into rationality, you're getting to be more compassionate, more and higher empathy. And इस तरह से वो जाता है. तो आप देख रहे हैं नीचे मटेरियल पे आता है, फिर रीजनिंग के ऊपर जाता है, फिर you get into the consciousness level, higher consciousness level of spirituality, where you're using the tools, the physical tool, the emotional tool, the intelligence tool to actually serve humanity. And that's where we are all aiming for, inshallah, through the application of the Quran and Sirah. So, questions for you. I hope you will participate. Values are about what you believe is right and important. They guide your behavior and decision. So, कौन से personal values के साथ do women come into marriage? आप बताएं. Please share करें chat में. What personal values do women come into with marriage में? क्या values लेके आते हैं? What do you think? आप बताएं. Okay, good. Any other? Good, thank you, Sister Farhana. Anybody else? What values कौन से लेके आ रहे हैं आप? What does a woman usually, I'm not even talking about you, I'm just saying, what do usually marriage में क्या लेके आते हैं? Okay. Okay. So, I mean, if you look at it, you know, you suddenly thrown out of a home you're in into a new home. तो usually क्या होता है, एक emptiness के साथ इंसान घुसता है. You're just like a blank slate because you just don't know what you're getting into, right? The man doesn't know it, the woman doesn't know it, but the man has, at least probably in his own home, so it's a bit more values वहाँ पे होंगे अपने, you know, because it's that environment. But the woman, she comes in, she wants to be accepted. वो हमने belief system देखा, it's more about emptiness. There's just nothing there. We just go in, mold me the way you want to mold me, that kind of attitude, right? And उसका consequence क्या है? What do you think is the consequence? You know, we say we go in for respect, but we're not even thinking about it. We're not even thinking about companionship or anything. It's just so overwhelming to get into a new home and to do that most of the times you're quite empty and ready to be guided on what to do to fit in. What is it that we need to do to fit in? So we talked about this के activities बहुत हो रही होती हैं, parties हो रही हैं, मिलना जुलना हो रहा है, dressing up हो रही है, but किसी गोल के साथ आए नहीं है और किसी कैरेक्टर के साथ भी नहीं आए हैं. जो था वो भी छुपा रहे हैं, उसको इम्पोर्टेंस ही नहीं दे रहे क्योंकि हमने तो वो बनना है जो हम वो चाह रहे हैं, right? So we are quite an empty vessel that anyone can fill in so that we can be accepted. So fill me up wala, you know, it looks like we come into that and being who they want me to be. इस किस्म की attitude के साथ we may find ourselves going into, given the culture and the pressures one is in. And what society आपको ये कह रही है that what defines you, even though society wants you to believe they do, but these things don't define you. Whether you're married or not married, it doesn't define you. But we think that way. It defines us. Our material possessions define us. Our education defines us. How popular we are, that defines us. What you look like defines us. Job status defines us. How much you weigh or how much money you have. So we talked about this at the beginning. ये culture की तरफ, media की तरफ, it's all showered on us कि ये चीजें हमें define कर रही हैं, but they're not. And as आपने जैसे बोला, कि what is truly defining you is your character, right? Your character, your knowledge, your skills, your attitudes, आपके actions and your fitra and your that kind of thing is really you. It is nothing else, and it's not much to do with your physical things that are around you. So we're keeping in mind that the marriage is about tranquility between you and your husband. We keep that as the goal, and we keep as a Muslim, we keep the goal there that we have accountable for everything, and we have to serve Allah Ta'ala. So our whole marriage is about giving, serving, growing, striving, building ourselves and building all those around us, and rising spiritually ourselves and those around us. So that would be kind of the purpose of you in your marriage. And to keep that there, you've got to have values. You should know your values before you enter into that relationship. You should know what you consider important. And we should have that written down even. Okay, I'm this. It's not a blank slate. It's not something you have to empty and build yourself from there. So being your true self requires not trying to be something you're not, right? Your true self is a masterpiece. Don't hide it behind a mask. And that would be something that I think is very much needed for women, because as I mentioned in the last two talks as well, कि women पे हमेशा suppression रहा है, हमेशा से रहा है. Women can change this world. Because naturally we are looking at futures. We have children, and we are looking at their future. We naturally look at futures. हमें आपको नहीं कहना पड़ता कि future का सोचो. हम तो शुरू से ही देख रहे होते हैं. But the man has to handle the daily problems, he's looking at today. He's trying to solve the problems of today. We need that too. Alhamdulillah, we need that. But the people who are at very low consciousness level, वो नहीं चाहते कि औरत आगे बढ़े. Because they want to control the world, and they want it to be very materialistic and them to have the power. And women can change situations. They can bring good values. So we need to rise to our fitra and serve that way. So I hope that is helpful. And a question for you: do both partners need to have the same interests? Why? What should be done if the interests are totally different? Kaun jawab dega? Would someone like to speak? I've been speaking for so long. Now you should speak.
Please.
Anybody
Please
would
raise
like?
your hand, inshallah, if anyone wants to. Sister Sana, I would like to discuss this. Both partners need to have the same interest. And why?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam. Go ahead.
जी अगर हस्बैंड और वाइफ के इंटरेस्ट या वैल्यूज डिफरेंट हैं,
इंटरेस्ट पे बात करें सिस्टर समीना.
इंटरेस्ट पे सही
खाली
है.
इंटरेस्ट पे, अगर दोनों के do both partners need to have the same interest? पहले yes no बोले.
सही है. अगर इंटरेस्ट डिफरेंट है तो फिर आई मीन रोला ही होगा ना. आप एक का इंटरेस्ट डिफरेंट है, वो कुछ और करना चाह रहा है, दूसरा उसका डिफरेंट है, वो और करना चाह रहा है, आप एक चीज पे नहीं है, तो फिर घर में ज़रा फिर वो मतलब कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ही हो गया ना, फिर एक दूसरे का बस वो थोड़ा सा।
समझे आपको समझना, you like to do gardening and the husband likes to travel a lot. तो ये प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करे, ये तो सही नहीं है।
नहीं सही, जी
हाँ?
जी सही नहीं है, सही है
सही
मतलब
नहीं,
हाँ सही
it
मतलब
can be like that. I mean, I have so many
लेकिन
interests.
हाँ मतलब एक दूसरे
My
को
husband doesn't have those.
ये नेचुरल चीज है ना, आपको क्या पसंद है, ये एक
हाँ,
नेचुरल चीज है
हाँ,
आपके
तो
अंदर।
ये प्रॉब्लम
तो
है कि
जी, तो इसको बेस्ट यही होता है ना कि आप एक दूसरे को अंडरस्टैंड करें, समझें एक दूसरे को।
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You
जी
have to allow that person to have their own interest. You have your own interest. कुछ थोड़ी सी common चीज ढूंढ लें जो आप दोनों को पसंद है।
पसंद है, सही।
But that's it. But otherwise, let people go through different interests. I mean, I've gone through changing my interest right through life.
इसी मतलब अगर आप ये नहीं करेंगे तो इसी चीज पे आपकी फिर वो रौलैया ज्यादा फिर ना गाढ़ी हो जाती है ना, फिर वो फिर बच्चों पे भी असर।
Good, excellent. So interest को encourage करें जहाँ पे भी है, or it's okay, they should do that, whatever they like doing. So then we came on to power की बात हो रही थी कि authority होती है चीजों पे, in some, even if you're a marriage relationship को देखें तो एक रिलेशनशिप में या तो पूरा दबाव हो सकता है एक पार्टनर का दूसरे के ऊपर, राइट? या आप कह सकते हैं कि किसी पर्सनल एट्रीब्यूट की वजह से एक पार्टनर को ज्यादा पावर है, किसी पे एक्सपर्टीज है, like with Sister Fana, she's got expertise in being a doctor. So obviously in health matters, she would have more power, right? In the relationship. So in-laws के मैटर में, फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज में किसको पावर है, फूड और न्यूट्रिशन में घर में किसका पावर है, ज्यादा अथॉरिटी है। सो वी आर नॉट सेइंग कि पावर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होनी है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज होनी है, अपनी अपनी अथॉरिटीज होनी है, बट आई थिंक द मेन थिंग इज चिल्ड्रन पे भी, प्लानिंग पे भी, लर्निंग पे भी, स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ पे भी किसी को तो लेना है उस एरिया को, right? And there could be more areas here as well. The point is that you can't switch off from an area. Does that make sense? Supposing आप कहते हैं अच्छा इनका काम है पैसे लाना घर में. I am not going to take any interest in that. That's not the right approach. You've got to be interested. Maybe they're having difficulty. Maybe they're finding, the society is corrupt out there. You need to be interested in how it's going. Unko power hai, but you need to be interested. So power pe hum keh rahe hain ki roles ke mutabik you have powers, but each partner needs to be interested in the area, whatever it is, whether it's children or planning or learning, interest and monitor and keep each other going. Does that make sense? And अपने खुद को इतना डिग्रेड ना करें कि जीरो पावर दे रहे हैं या उनको सारा पावर दे रहे हैं. दैट इज नॉट राइट, राइट? उससे आप अपने राइट्स भी आपके खत्म हो जाते हैं. आई थिंक वी स्पोक अबाउट दिस इन द अर्लियर वन. उनके राइट्स की रिस्पेक्ट करें, दूसरों के रिस्पेक्ट करें, कंपेयर ना करें, कम्पीट ना करें, just let it be the way it is. And then we went on to talk about the ways of conflict. Does every conflict need to be taken up? इस पे आपकी क्या राय है? Does every conflict need to be taken up? What do you think? Any ideas? Sister Shazia? Sister Shazia Zeb. Okay. Okay. Sister Shazia, Sister Rana.
Anyone else?
Your viewpoint here? Can we take it up? Does every conflict need to be taken up? और बताएं reason भी बताएं. Participate करें please. It helps everybody. You're talking and saying something. Inshallah.
Sazra, you want to go ahead, unmute yourself and share your viewpoint?
Yeah, true. It is true what you're saying, Sister Asa. It's not worth it. Some things are too minor to get, right? Something you have to decide. क्या चीज़ important है, क्या नहीं है. Everything is not, does not have to be taken out, right? So you're okay on that. So this brings us to the end of the 3 scenarios that we covered, and I hope they have been helpful. Have they been helpful? कोई इस पे questions हैं, helpful है या नहीं है, अपना राय बताएं. Can you repeat? Sorry, can I repeat the question? Oh, I was just saying, ये वाला था question, Sister Shazia. Does every conflict need to be taken up and why? We were saying, you don't need to take up every conflict. You just decide on its importance. Is that okay? So ये 3 हमने scenario कर लिए on belief system. Has this been helpful? What do you say? Has it been helpful? Thank you. Thank you, Sister Sana. Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So अभी हम कहाँ पहुँच रहे हैं? How are we progressing? We've covered all this. हम 6 तक निकल गए हैं. So I would have liked you to, determine the personality level, but as you do it for yourself, as Sister Farhana कह रही है, सब किया है, it's good to know what the personality level is with the spouse and with the in-laws and with the children. So now we move on to step 7, basic tools to resolve conflict while maintaining ARC. So इसको अगर हम देखें तो पिछला जो हमने डिस्कस किया था affinity, reality and communication पे, affinity is a degree of likeness you have for somebody. Reality is what is there, what is exists there, and the degree of agreement you have with somebody. And C is, of course, communication, which occurs just by visually also sensing it through your hearing, through those senses, and also from what you speak. So all those 3 determine understanding. So in tools को अभी हमें use करना है, and we want to run a session or maybe 2 sessions just to see कि कैसे करना है. Now this time I would really like you to participate because it helps, तो 2 scenarios को देख रहे हैं. Sister Farhana, इस पे भी let me know इस पे कैसे I thought we could take 2 scenarios. One is the spouse speaks rudely to you in public, even laughs at you, right? तो आप इसको कैसे handle करेंगे? To using the tools, right? और दूसरा है wife की responsibility है the home, serving all the time. She's overworked and feels alone. And husband's responsibility is his work, friends, and his family. So इस पे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, दोनों एरिया में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है. आपने बताना है कि टूल्स को, और जो पिछले हमने सेशंस किए हैं एंड ऑन द एरियाज दैट वी हैव कवर्ड, उसको यूज करते हुए आप कैसे इसको सॉल्व करेंगे, कैसे हार्मनी लाएंगे, ट्रैंक्विलिटी लाएंगे विथ ईच अदर. डज दैट मेक सेंस? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is it a good idea, and how should we do it? How should we do it? We do want participation. मुश्किल लगता है इसलिए नहीं करते हैं. कैसे क्या होता है बताएं? या भूल जाता है. Should I send a reminder? Sister Farhana ने reminder भी भेजे थे शुरू में. She had written it on the groups. Yeah, she had sent it on the groups.
मैम मैंने पर्सनली सबको भेजे हैं रिमाइंडर्स. यहाँ पे कोई भी नहीं कह सकता कि उनको नहीं पहुंचे रिमाइंडर्स. होमवर्क के लिए जी.
अच्छा, ओके.
अब
Your supervisor is saying she has done her job. So tell us, आप करना चाहते हो, इसको करना चाहते हो as a homework, because when you're talking and you're saying things, so usse both, it becomes real to, is this going to be too personal, will it, Sister Varana? ये तो पर्सनल नहीं होएगा इस तरह करना ये तो सही है.
This
We can just take an example of any stuff.
this is ये random है ना, so I think it should be good. It can be anyone, and yeah, even in the beginning, me and Sister Shazia can just do the role play as well, you know, of these two characters, and then someone can come and explain. You know, what this is, you know, I'm going to build my affinity, and then, you know, I'm going to communicate this, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to locate this reality, my reality, specifically wo points lay karna. Isko, I think we should really have like a format what they can talk, like they have to first mention their affinity, then they have to mention the reality, their reality, and, you know, the aage ki person ki reality, and then, you know, maybe 3 ways of how, 3 sentences which they will use to communicate. तो ऐसा अगर दे देना तो specifically तो ना आसान होगा. Like a
no,
format.
I mean, this is a situation. You come home, you're upset. Number one, you're upset because you were talked to. अब क्या करेंगे? You know, you start from that viewpoint. You got to, that's your starting point. What are you going to do? Usually क्या होता है हम कह रहा हूँ ये क्यों किया था वो क्यों किया था yes, you know, it could be like that, and that's not going to go anywhere. So is this a challenge we can take on? कोई कौन इसको करना चाहता है?
ख्याल है सिस्टर स्मीना और सिस्टर शाजिया जो है ना, इनका एक ग्रुप बनाते हैं, दोनों डिस्कस करें और इनके ऊपर, और
नंबर एक ही को पहले लें, डोंट गिव टू, जस्ट टेक नंबर 1 एंड डू दैट, राइट? एक नंबर 1 को करें खाली.
एक टॉपिक के मैं स्पाउस वाला जो है ना टॉपिक देना चाह रही हूँ कि ये दोनों लाइक इस तरह से काम करें जिससे वो एक इंसान वो मिलके कंबाइन एक पूरा सिनेरियो के ऊपर वर्क करें और देखें कि किस तरह से हो सकता है. मैं ये सोच रही थी, अगर आप समझती कि कोई एक ही करेगा तो फिर ये ना हो कि नेक्स्ट सेशन में वो हो ही ना.
Sister
I mean,
Samina, are you agreeing? Are you agreeing? I'm just
Sister
trying to
Samina.
help Sister Shazia because she tries. Sister Samina and Sister Shazia say, are you agreeing? I've done my, okay, that's okay, sir. Don't worry.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, good.
So, Sister Shazia and Sister Smina,
अब
आपको मेरे पास अब आ गया है आपकी जो है ना कंसेंट, तो मैं आपसे बात कर लूंगी इंशाल्लाह. दूसरे के लिए हम देख लेते हैं कि क्या करना है.
दूसरे बाद में करेंगे. Let's just get through one. We'll do that next time. तो ये सिस्टर शाजिया जो सर्वे फॉर्म है वो डालेंगे. I really, really want survey forms to be done. It helps me to see. आप बोलते हैं तो पता चलता है कि भाई बहुत कम साइन अप हो रहे हैं सर्वे फॉर्म्स. Have you got the link there?
Yes, ma'am, मैं भी कर रही हूँ.
आप इसको स्टेप्स के तौर पे लिख लें ये असाइनमेंट को. दैट वेरी इजी, यू नो, स्टेप 1, स्टेप 2, यू नो, दिस काइंड ऑफ दैट्स काइंड ऑफ ऑन द वे, बट देख लें आप. आई मीन जस्ट फॉर द क्लैरिटी, what will you do first, what will you do, you know, second, you know,
So you come home, what do you do? Just write it as steps. Yeah.
First step, you know, कितना टाइम लेगी फर्स्ट स्टेप के लिए. You could just time it as well, you know, what is appropriate time का भी आप डाल सकते हैं उसमें.
Mr. Shazia, do you need some help? Are you there?
The Zoom session, let me see, the link is.
इंटरनेट थोड़ा सा इशू कर रहा है, मुझसे ना डिलीवर नहीं हो रहा, शेयर नहीं कर पा रही. आपके पास अगर अवेलेबल है, मुझे थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा इसको लिंक.
Jasmine does it, so
वो उन्होंने मुझे बोला था या
आप
शी
मुझे
टोल्ड
व्हाट्सएप पे भेजेंगे? व्हाट्सएप पे भेजें मुझे.
जी.
व्हाट्सएप पे भेज सकते हैं.
Yes, sending now.
And this homework I'll post in the मैं इसमें WhatsApp पे पोस्ट कर दूंगी होमवर्क, फर्स्ट सिनेरियो.
All right, thank you. And my internet is slow as well. What's happened? Okay. Shall I do it now? Is that okay? Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, ये प्लीज सर्वे फॉर्म फिल कर दें. एंड सिस्टर सना का क्वेश्चन है, वो प्लीज ले लें.
Sana,
वो चाह रही है कि
but
उनकी
I'll send. Yeah, that's what I told. I'll send the. She wants to send the assignment content on the group, on
the group.
WhatsApp
Yeah,
group.
you can WhatsApp group. Yeah.
Okay, you can do it there as well. Inshallah, next we can read it out in the next session also then. From there.